Okay, guys, what's up? This is Oja Senpai here today, here to do the final chapter review for today. Um, Magi chapter 230. So this is pretty much the finale between King Solomon and Elder David. Yeah, all right. I'm not gonna lie. The end of this chapter was anticlimactic as fuck. It really was. I expected this really awesome fight, like this really awesome final battle, and we didn't get that, obviously. But it was just like I was like, dude, like, yo, this is crazy. But anyways, when it comes to let's start with the basics. Let's start with the basics before I get into this chapter. First things first. Pacing. Good pacing. When it comes to story progression, great, obviously, great story progression. And when it comes to artwork, great plus. The artwork is really good, like really good. Let's get into the actual chapter. That's where I want to talk about because I'm listen. I was like, what the fuck? Like that was some crazy shit. So let's talk about it. Let me call him, no, Elder David, sorry, King David. Not King David, Elder David. Pretty much him and the Orthodox are all doing this for God and his descent. And, or otherwise known as Elah. And, no, Elah, sorry. And we already know from the special chapter of Magi that the reason why he's doing this is because of destiny, and that apparently he and Solomon are going to kill God together, whatever that means. And apparently, he is going to do it via this method. I have no idea. Like, this chapter just threw me off entirely. But pretty much, he's talking about how, we are all doing this for God's descent, and, we will make sure that all the sinners are done with. And Solomon's saying we don't need that kind of God here, to screw over our lives and stuff. And obviously at this point, it's pretty much like Solomon saying, I don't believe in this God because, obviously this God is Eli's imperfect. And, we already knew this from the chapter with the mother dragon. And we have pretty much Solomon and David talking. Now, before that, we see this pretty awesome moment with, I think it's Ethan. And Ethan's pissed. Like, Ethan's like, I will fucking kill you. And he rains down, like, magic from no other. Of course, we see Solomon joining with him. And apparently, they're going to try and apparently, the Orthodox try to self-destruct. Like, they try to self-destruct so they can kill everybody there. Or kill the people, like, to kill the people on the ground. But Solomon's like, I can't allow that. They Like he uses his gravity abilities and they all float up in the air. And pretty much at that point, it's Solomon and David talking. And Solomon is like, so this is your pretty much your much appreciated God who decided fate. And this is what he says word for word. Are you saying that you were blessed with the power of foresight? And the answer to that question is duh. I mean, obviously, we already know this from the special chapter that he's seeing, like, apparently, like, Elder David was seeing, like, Aladdin, Alibaba, all the others who were watching the screen. He was seeing that all go on in the past. He was seeing the future happening at that moment. So obviously, yeah, that's completely true. And he mentions that, people's death, rational unhappiness, misfortune, all of that is not like karma or retribution. It's all the flow, it's destiny. Like pretty much saying everything's been decided. Like everything. Like even what you're gonna do in your life has been decided according to destiny. And pretty much he talks about God and he says, hold on, let me go to this because I said the page on here where, I said the tab where it's pretty much like I'm reading this chapter right now as we talk to you, as I talk to you. Hold on. And he's saying pretty much he's saying about that, with this, I too will become one with him after all. It took a really long time. And someone's like, what? And then he's like, fare thee well, Solomon, my beloved child. And this part, I was like, dude, I was like, what the fuck? He said, I actually never thought of you that way, not even once, I guess. I was like, damn. It's like, dude, that's some bad shit. So, anyways, we move on, and he hugs Solomon, weird as hell, and explosion. And this is where I gotta talk about this, dude. This is where I gotta talk about this. When, like, when magicians know about their destiny, according to David, at that point, they will hate their destiny and they will want to fall into depravity. However, he says maybe there'll be one day where humans will be able to oppose destiny and finally be happy. And he's like, it's a question mark. So I'm like, so he's wondering about the day where humanity would want to one day oppose their destiny and finally be happy. Like, oh, says, I curse my fate. Now that's where I'm like, yo, what he's saying is exactly what Althaman wants to happen. Where he pretty much says, like, for people, like, people want to like people that curse their fate and finally be happy, like finally they don't have to be restricted. That's what he's saying pretty much. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, like, this dude straight up is like, sorry, it's pretty much like talking about like all thumb, pretty much like, yo, hopefully there might come a day where people will actually oppose destiny. It's like, dude, it's like this dude straight up is like talking like Althama now. And despite the fact that David says, I don't really care about you as a son, he does say this, and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? I want to see what will happen then, and for that reason, I'm entrusting things to you. I'm like, well, entrusting everything to you. I'm like, what? So, despite the fact that he doesn't like want, like, he doesn't care about Solomon as a son, he apparently he apparently is like, he wants to see what Solomon will do about this whole flow of destiny type of thing. And pretty much after that, we see like this. Well, after the explosion, obviously, we see King David, like Elder David. Sorry, how am I keep calling him King? Elder David disappear, and he's just spread apart now. And we see Solomon with King David's staff. He's saying the staff is the key, and we don't know what that staff will do. But here's my theory. I think that David, because he has the power of foresight, because he has the power to see into the future and stuff, I think that sorry, I think that staff is like basically the basis of Solomon's powers, like Solomon's like foresight powers. Like, you know how Aladdin now has Solomon's wisdom, like he has the actual ability Solomon's wisdom. I think that that's how Solomon will be able to see into the future or something like that. Like, see like what King, like Elder David sees. And I think that's what it is. I don't know for sure, but because we don't know what the staff is really, like what the staff is a key for. But it's just like, what the fuck? Like, it's like a what the fuck moment. So we see someone, he falls to the ground after the explosion, and then he's all scarred up, and pretty much that's the chapter in itself. Now, here's one more thing before I end the review. When you think about it, Solomon, like Aladdin, showing like the Seven Seas Alliance, the Ram Empire, all those dudes, showing them this is actually a really bad idea. Because think about it. Aladdin said before this arc even started, like when this arc first started, I'm going to show you this subway. Hopefully, a crisis like this can be avoided. And I'm going to betray the god of this planet. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, but Aladdin, David can see into the future, bro. He already knew you're gonna do this. So what if this is a bad idea? What if this is something that you really don't want to see? What if this I don't know if like exactly like if this will influence them, but what if this influences Sinbad and Cohen to go ahead with their plans anyways? What if this is a bad idea? What if this, makes things even worse? I guess you could say. So I'm not saying that this is a bad idea with Aladdin. Well, no, I am saying that actually. I'm saying that this is a bad idea to show them this. Obviously, it's a progressive story, but and to show us, like what happened in the past with Amaterasu. But I'm kind of sitting here. I'm like, dude, like I don't know. I don't know, like if this is a good idea at all. I really don't. But anyways, the chapter itself ends off with Solomon falling to the ground with the staff of King David in his hand. And hold on, let me see. Yeah, and it says, "What's the secret of David's staff?" And it also says next week Magi is on break. So yeah, that's the chapter. So yeah, next week Magi's on break. We won't see a chapter that week. And yeah, it's pretty much a chapter overall. So the rating of this chapter, I'm gonna give it good plus. I was gonna give it a grade, but the end of that chapter, like normally I don't do this because like the ending of the chapter that can influence the entire chapter, but the entire situation in of itself was anticlimactic. I expected like a battle where like it was King David versus Solomon, like extended to two chapters where like it'll be a battle. The first chapter, and then the second chapter be like the end of the battle, and then it would be what David and Solomon talk to each other about. I expected that to happen, but I didn't expect like this to go out this way. But I'm not gonna give it like a really bad rating. I'm still gonna give it a rating of good plus. So yeah, good plus chapter Magi. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you don't. Subscribe to me if you want to, and give me your thoughts about this chapter. What do you think about the staff? What do you think about the staff's powers? What it can do? What do you think about David and Solomon's relationship? Obviously there's like a bad relationship between them. Well, between them, but yeah. Tell me your thoughts about that. Tell me your thoughts about the chapter. So yeah, rating of good plus, and I'll see you guys later. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you don't, rate, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And yeah, I'm Magi Senpai. I'm out. Peace, guys.